It's not about doing everything all at once. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not about like, I need to change everything in my life right now. In my years and years and years and years and years of being in health and coaching in health is like, pick one thing and do it for 30 days. Maybe that's you. Like what you'd be most excited about is just walking, like walking around the block, walking around your neighborhood. Do that for 30 days. If it's, I want to have my meals, my lunch meals prepped for me, right? And have that instead of going out to eat, instead of doing a fast food for lunch and having Chipotle, I'm going to get my lunch meals prepped by a local company and have a healthy meal for lunch. Do that for 30 days. And then just start at a place where it's like whatever's most exciting to you or whatever you feel like you can do right now, do that. And do it for 30 days. Don't try to implement all of this all at the same time. Don't try to change your meals. Don't try to work out every day. Don't try to walk every day. Don't try to red light every day. Don't try to sauna or hot tub every day. Like pick the one thing that you're going to do for 30 days and start there. And then once that has been built as a foundation, having your lunch meals prepped for you and having a healthy lunch, and you do that consistently for 30 days where you felt like you have a hang on it, then introduce the new thing. There's so many people right now that like are chasing after these, do this for 75 days and change everything. And then guess what happens after that 75 days? It's like now you honestly feel like you've been in a prison for 75 days. So then you bust out and like you lose the habit of all of it.
Welcome to Big Business Mistakes, hosted by Brandon and Kaelin Poulin. Here, the most successful entrepreneurs tell jaw-dropping stories and lessons behind their biggest business mistakes so that you don't make them. Ditch the fake highlight reel and get the raw truths and golden lessons of what it actually takes to scale your business from those who have done it. This is Big Business Mistakes.
So yeah, this Sleep Me that goes on the bed and it wraps around the mattress, goes under your sheet. And I like sleeping super cold. Like I'm hot all the time. Brandon is cold all the time. It's like opposite than normally in a relationship. Usually it's like the girl that's always super cold. But he calls our bedroom Antarctica because I'd pump the AC down to like 66 degrees.
Antarctica is right.
Yes. Yeah. And then I'd be like, I don't even sleep with the covers because I'm so hot. So I'll sleep in like 67 degrees with no covers.
And I'm over on my side of the bed with a heated blanket.
Doubled over, like, because I won't allow any blankets on my side of the bed. And so this is how I've been sleeping for years. And we got this Sleep Me, and both of us have, my sleep has completely changed. Like now I'm not waking up in the middle of the night 80 times being hot because on the app on your phone, you can set it to a temperature. So mine starts at like 67, 68 degrees is what I go to sleep at to like cool off and get comfortable. And then there's a schedule that goes through the night where it bumps it up by like a degree and a degree and a degree. So then I don't wake up cold. It'll up by like 3 degrees as I sleep to then keep me asleep during the night. And it's like now Brandon sleeps at like 83 degrees. I sleep at like 68 degrees and mine goes up to 70 and his goes up to like 85.
Isn't that crazy? Talk about like your body's unique.
Yeah.
Yours is at 67 degrees and mine is at 84. And that's where I'm comfortable and that's where you're comfortable.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so crazy about health is we try to carpet bomb the approach.
Yeah. One size fits all.
Yeah. But it's like everybody's body is different. And so it's like getting the tools and the data that you need to adjust it for you.
Yep.
That was huge for us. Now we don't like blow out our AC bill all night because we're like cranking it to 66. And then I'm like plugging in an electric blanket.
It saved that Sleep Me has saved our marriage.
You think so?
Yeah. Like we even make a joke in bed at night, like before we had these pads that go on our bed, I make a joke at night that like, is this the conversation that we have every night before we fall asleep for the rest of our life? Like every night in our marriage, since we got together, since we met, since we've been married, all the way through till one of us dies, that literally the conversation as we go to sleep is, it's so freaking cold in here. And then I say back, well, I can't, there's no more clothes I can take off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm freaking
sweating.
hot. And we have an argument over the thermostat every night before we fall asleep.
Yeah.
And it's literally like.
But now we just laugh about how your Sleep Me is freezing.
Yeah.
And then mine's like a furnace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like we're not affiliated with Sleep Me. I'm just like, this is such a great tool for people.
And now I sleep all the way through the night. I used to have such a hard time falling asleep and going to sleep because I'd be like so uncomfortable because I'm so hot. And you were so uncomfortable because you were so cold. And now we both have our individualized sides of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. So we talked about kind of that individual approach. And so for me, going through this whole sickness, right?
Yeah.
This whole like journey with that and like reprogramming it all. What was really cool as well was the food part, right? So when I did all this testing, is going through the food part. I want to talk
about this because I feel like this is the big thing that changed for me.
Well, you're the chef. You're the chef, guys. But by the way, she cooks, I eat. I'm incredible at it. I'm an incredible eater.
That's your role.
That's my role.
That's your role.
I know my role. I stay in my lane. It's really hard.
But I feel like the biggest thing with the testing that happened for me, because I wasn't getting sick all the time, right? I used to tell you Aperol spritz a day keeps the doctor away. Like, you know, I mean, I'm like, and I never had a problem. Like Brandon would get sick and I wouldn't. And I would get sick when like the kids brought home something serious, like a stomach flu, but I wasn't really like getting sick. But I was having like all of this just like constant anxiety, like this constant like pressure, like I just was never in good moods. Like I thought like this is just a season of life I'm in where all of a sudden I have this unwarranted like anxiety and stuff all the time where like I feel like something's sitting on my chest. And when my test came back, both of us actually had a disposition with the gene, what is it called? It's like MTHFR, right?
Yeah, it's a gene mutation.
Yeah, it's a gene mutation which means that our bodies don't process folic acid, right? And so most everything that we were eating had folic acid in it, and our bodies actually aren't processing it. And so then it comes to, you come to realize that it causes stress on the body, but it shows up as anxiety. It shows up as depression. It shows up as mental fog. It shows up as fatigue and all of these things. And I wasn't really necessarily a true believer yet because I know you felt better, but I was just like, okay, do the thing that needs to work for you. Like, do all this stuff, sure, like we'll throw out the folic acid, we'll start eating differently, blah, blah. And our kids too, both of our kids have this gene mutation too. And what's funny is, so we cut out all the stuff in our house and probably
cut out all the stuff? You mean we had to throw out like half,
everything,
most of our pantry?
Yes, everything. And it's super hard to find stuff that doesn't have folic acid on because it's basically what is sprayed, you know, on fields of rice and wheat and you know, all this. So it's basically in everything.
It's a lot of gluten.
Yeah, a lot of gluten.
Anything with gluten usually has folic acid.
Well, and even the gluten-free stuff had folic acid.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, I was like, okay, we'll test it. 3 days later, my kids like stopped having temper tantrums. Like they completely changed.
So
like
true.
3 days later, they completely changed. And we started taking folate, right?
Yeah.
I was like, we need to take that because our body processes folate and it needs the folic acid, but our body needs to like process the folate itself at the pure level, not as folic acid. And so for me, like probably like a week in, 2 weeks in, I was just like all of a sudden in better moods. All of a sudden, like all this anxiety I was having every day of where I would literally just be like, I need to just sit in my bed because I feel like something's like sitting on my chest. Like I'm just having all this pressure in my body and I can't stand it. I can't even do anything. I can't think. I'm having so much brain fog. Like all of that just lifted. And it's like, I was doing all of the right things. I've been in health for all of these years. Like I know all the things to do. I'm doing all the things. But there was this like, why am I feeling this way? Why is there like this cloud in my mind all the time? Why can't I think straight? Why can't I string two thoughts together? And then after changing this one thing that was individual to me, and it's genetic. So Brandon also has it, and so both of our kids have it. And once we took all this out, then it was like I literally became a brand new person. And our children are like completely different people. And yes, like I still let them have the good things of life. I believe that they should be able to have like they can have a sugar cookie every now and again. They can have like the things that have it in there, like as a treat once a week, right? But when they do, you can see immediately they become a different child immediately.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I now like schedule the times of which we're going to take them to do the treat. And then we're going to come home and we're going to take naps because, you know, as soon as they have it, sugar or no sugar, it doesn't matter what it is. As soon as they have the folic acid, boom, completely different children.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like that was wild to watch. And it's almost like, so on the food thing, right? On the food thing, we've really changed a lot. And guys, like
we've changed everything.
It's hard.
And we were like healthy and crunchy before, but now we're like super crunchy.
Yeah. Like we're almost twig and berry, but not quite.
Yeah.
Twig and berry with a lot of meat.
Yeah. We're very protectant over what we eat now because we understand like what comes along with choosing to eat certain things.
Right. Well, and kind of just to give some like really kind of simple, like kind of, well, what did you guys change? Right. And I'm like, we paid all this money, we did all these tests, and it was like, so first thing is there's a list of foods that are therapeutic. So this isn't an allergy food test. That's not what this is. A lot of people have done that. It's very different than that. There's there's a lot wrong with the way that they do those tests that isn't that conducive to like getting benefits, but I can't speak to all the science of it. But we're talking about a genetic test. And so there's specific foods that for your body are not therapeutic or not helpful. Like you shouldn't have them that frequently. And for me, it was like tomatoes. What else was on there? Like quinoa.
Yeah.
Like what else is on that list?
Oh, you said tomatoes.
Tomatoes, quinoa. What is
olives?
Olives.
I was like, good thing we don't like olives.
I'm like, I don't like, I'm like, cool. It wasn't like, oh, you can't have meat.
Peanut butter.
Or you can't have, peanut butter was the one that was the hardest for me.
Yeah.
But
that was a red for you. That was a thing that you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It wasn't a like, you can sometimes have it. It's like you can't have it.
No.
Potatoes.
All of them are sometimes. There's nothing
Potatoes.
that's can't. There's nothing that's can't.
Okay.
It's like sometimes.
Potatoes.
Potatoes is one. Like don't have it too frequently. So it shows you, hey, these are therapeutic, these are neutral, and these are like, don't have these that often. And it really wasn't that many things. It was like a handful of things.
Yeah, like 5.
Right? For me. And so that was like, okay, the custom approach, right? But then in general, right, we started digging deeper.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and here's kind of where I want to say the major categories of crap that people eat that impacts them negatively that we've really been educated on.
Yeah.
So, because there's like, you go to some of these health pages,
Yeah.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because you're like, everything kills me.
I can't eat anything.
I can't eat anything. Everything kills me. Everything I thought was healthy is not. Everything was not healthy is. And
it's a
like,
paradigm shift for sure.
yeah, it's so one of the biggest things is seed oils.
Like sunflower oil,
Sunflower oil,
canola oil,
any of these seed oils that you find in things, like terrible for you. Like I'm not going to get into it. Go look it up. Terrible for you, right? Seed oils, obviously like artificial sugars, like stevia, monk fruit, like those are great sweeteners. Everything else, not great. Chemicals, man-made, terrible for you.
Yeah.
Right? These things are going to hurt the way that you feel long-term. Gluten. I can eat gluten and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I just eliminated it. And like, I feel great. Like I just feel good.
Yep.
So I'm like some things that will go out and we're like, this is gluten worth it.
Yeah. Well, because I'm actually gluten intolerant. So I've been on like the gluten-free train for most of my life after I figured that out. But like now.
But how did you figure that out?
Oh, I figured it out by
you developed
I developed the intolerance because when I was competing, I didn't have any carbs ever. And then I had always eaten them all my life and never had a problem with my stomach with eating gluten. I never had a pain in my stomach. And then after I competed, I'd had like no carbs and no rice and no bread and no anything for, 6 months, 8 months. And then after I competed, I started putting in like, okay, let's put back in some sweet potatoes. Let's like have some carbs again. And I gained like 40 pounds in like 6 weeks and everyone thought I was pregnant. And it was because literally I had developed a gluten intolerance. And so then someone said, well, just cut all gluten out for like 10 days. And on the 10th day, like eat a bowl of oatmeal. And I was like, okay, that's super weird, but okay, I can do that. And so I did it. And as soon as I ate the oatmeal, I immediately like threw it up. Like my body was like, no. And every time I eat gluten now, it causes such a pain and like a knotting in my stomach when I have it that because I had cut out a macronutrient, because I had like cut things out, that now I was intolerant to it.
Yeah. And that's where the whole like keto, don't eat any carbs, guys like, look, I'm not a scientist, but I'm a realist and I'm like, I pay attention, I listen. Every single person that I've ever talked to that is like completely cut carbs and is doing keto, most of them say like their brain hurts, they can't think.
Can't remember your address, can't remember your phone number. I couldn't do any of those things.
And they never do it long term. It's just difficult to sustain. So I think it can definitely work. Like you cut out bread, you cut out gluten in bread. And a lot of carbs, you just eat less. Yeah. Of course, you're going to lose weight because you're eating less, guys. Remember the calorie equation, right? I'm not eating
pasta anymore. I'm not eating bowls of spaghetti.
But you did that and basically developed an intolerance to gluten because you cut out carbs for so long. And that's like, you cut them out. Like your body was definitely in ketosis.
Like
you were having like a teaspoon of rice, right? Yeah. So it's like
once a week.
And so just personal experience with it and people. So I think it works for people. I know some people like it.
Well, and that's the thing.
And maybe it's for them, but
that's
most of the time
is nobody ends up doing it like long term. They have to take breaks from it. And then when they're like, oh, I've gained some weight, I'm going to do I'm going to go no carbs again. It's like it becomes a cycle in the health routine instead of just having a health routine that you can do all the time that's every day and consistent.
Right.
Like, so if you find yourself like, oh, I need to do the this challenge again, or I need to do the this thing again. That's all that's telling me when people say that to me is that you don't have a health system set up in your life that you can actually be consistent with. Because there's something that you end up having to tell yourself, oh, I have to go do this because I've gotten to a point now where I've gained some weight back, or I don't have as much energy. And so for me, all that is to me is a red flag of like, you don't actually have a consistent health system in your life of the things that work for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we've kind of hit the food. So we talked about seed oils.
Yeah.
There's a great company we've worked with called Wake Up and Read the Labels. And they're probably the most detailed on specific food items, drinks,
like LaCroix,
ketchups, whatever it is. They've got like
foods.
the alternatives. They've done deep research. Like I would definitely check them out.
Yeah, you can just go look at her Instagram. Like every product ever imagined is on her Instagram, like a whole synopsis of why.
Yeah, and they've got a product you can buy. You can get like a 60-page thing, and you're like, oh, I drink this. Let me see if if it's healthy. If it's not, there's alternatives.
Yeah.
And they go like deep.
Like if you like LaCroix, here's the better option.
They go deep ingredient like study and give you the alternative. Like that's a great company to just like cleanse all of the food in your house.
Yeah.
Because for us, it was like almost everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind
like
of
trash
it's
bags
a pain.
and trash bags.
I'll be honest, it's a pain. It's annoying. Like I don't like it. Like it's a discipline. Like our kids, they're like heat seeking. They're like sugar seeking missiles.
Yeah.
Like they just find whatever the worst thing in our pantry is, and like that's what they want, and they cry over it. You know what I mean?
And so we removed it. But I will say now, like once you make the switch and you start eating like all the things that you should and that work for you, and like for us, like no folic acids and like all this kind of stuff.
Dairy. I don't have dairy.
No dairy, all these things that when you have it again, you notice. You actually, now my baseline is none. And so when I have folic acid or I have the canola oil, because I was like, the other day I was like, I just want some potato chips. And there was like a little bag of potato chips and I ate it. I can notice the difference in my body because now the baseline is none. So when I introduce something that I don't normally have, I can literally feel the folic acid in my body. And then I'll like the anxiety will come or the brain fog will come. And I'm like, now I'm actually pairing it with a thing. So then I really don't want it anymore because now since my baseline is none, when I reintroduce it to my body, I can notice the change from just that one difference.
Yeah.
I can notice the flags that pop up because I ate it. So I call things like gluten worth. Like I don't believe in like going the rest of your life without having some of the fine things of life, like ice cream from Jenny's Ice Cream in Austin,
Krispy Kreme donuts.
or Krispy Kreme donuts. Like I believe that you should have
cookies.
those things, but
Yes.
but it's not like
Now
a
we're
constant for me anymore. It's like when I want it, I do, but I know the repercussion of having it and how my mental state those following days are going to change.
Yeah, I kind of want pizza right now, yo.
Dude, I would love some pizza. We haven't had pizza in a minute.
It's kind of been a while. I'm like, I want to go eat some pizza tonight because I'm like,
we should end this podcast and go get pizza right now. I'd love that.
Yeah, seriously. So on the water side of things, right?
Yep.
Like we're deep in this. We're touching all the areas.
Now we're hitting water.
So
You're making me thirsty.
everybody's got a different water. You know, you're on a city water. You got well water, whatever. But I found this guy, and they do these coconut carbon filters, and I bought in. Like I was sold. He tested all the water, had all the cups, gave me all the science, and I don't remember all of it, but I was like, yes, it was like, I don't know, $2,000 or something. And it was like this insane water filtration system. So I've got a water softener on the house, and then it goes through a coconut carbon filter, and then it goes through a reverse osmosis, and then a remineralizer, and then a Kangen machine, and then it comes out the spout. So I think we have the most ridiculous water system on our house.
Yeah.
But like, just get it the best you can, right? Because your water is not like, I'm not like, I'm not educated enough to be like, there's all these conspiracy and this in your water and that in your water. But I've heard so much of that. Hey, got your feet up.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
I'm pregnant. Get over it. I want to put my feet up. My knees
You can
hurt.
have them here.
Okay.
Of course, babe. But for me, it's like, just get the highest quality water you can. I will tell you that alkaline water that's bottled is an absolute scam.
Yeah.
Because alkaline water does, like the alkalinity dissipates over about 48 hours. So and you could put the drop.
They put a chemical in it that makes it test as alkaline.
Exactly.
But as soon as you put drops in it,
and then
it
blow
shows
bubbles.
up alkaline, and then you blow bubbles or shake it, then all of a sudden it's not alkaline.
It goes
because
away.
there's a chemical that's in it that.
So bottled alkaline water is an absolute scam.
Yeah. So if you're one of those people paying for bottled alkaline water, like it lost its pH balance like 2 months ago when it was before it even landed in the warehouse.
Yep. Like absolute
FYI,
scam.
that's a fact.
Yeah. So I like Kangen machines.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using it for years. I feel a difference with that water than when I travel and I don't have that water.
Yeah.
And obviously we have all the other filters, but like drink a lot of water. The other thing that we added is Element.
Yeah.
LMNT. And
LMNT.
yeah, which is electrolytes and sodium. So like if you just pound water all day and you don't have any sodium, then you can get depleted on sodium in your body because you're filtering, you're flushing so much water through your system. So that was something that I added. I have one of those a day. Careful if you drink more than that. Like unless you're doing like a sauna.
Yeah.
So
I split mine up in between. Like, so I open one packet in the morning and I put a little bit in like each time I fill up my Stanley cup. I love
and it tastes really good.
How strong it is.
And
but
there's
I just
no artificial sugar.
I started like craving it. So now I split it up between all the waters because it's like I want it in every water. So instead of drinking multiple packets, because like, that's a lot of sodium, I just split it up now in between all of my waters. So I get a little bit in each one.
That's a good strat. I like that strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that strategy. And then if you sauna, then you'd want to do 2 of those. So I take one into the sauna with me because again, when you sweat all that water out, like all that sodium's going to come out with it.
Yeah.
And so you're going to want to replenish that.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about your sauna? I feel like a lot of people sauna, but we had a sauna. We had like an infrared sauna outside that I had gotten like 6 years ago, 6 years ago. But then we found out that we were saunaing wrong.
Yeah. These are all the hacks.
For like 6 years, we've been saunaing wrong.
Yeah. So I have like a crazy like routine, right? So here's basically, I'll give it to you. So I have this thing called a Vitality Booth. It's a European company and they ship this thing over and it's kind of intense. Like it's not, you got to have space for it and it's not cheap, but like there's cheaper ways to get it. So the way it starts is with red light. So I have panels that are red light, which is cellular regeneration, mitochondria, health, cellular health.
I've never looked younger.
So look into, it's true.
It's true.
Look into red light. And then the other one is infrared light. So these are 2 light patterns that are great for you.
And they're both in the Vitality Booth panels.
They're both in the booth. So I get in the booth. It's got 4 panels in it. The panels have both types of bulbs, red and infrared light, right? And then while I'm in there, I do like my floor stretching and like my glute routine, right? Yep. I'm like a chick now. I got a glute routine, okay? Because I don't want to have lower back freaking pain all the time. Because I sit and I work. Like I have a standing desk. I stand. I still get lower back pain. Yeah. Right. But not anymore because I'm doing that routine.
And then you have your hypoxico.
Yeah. So I get in the booth, got the lights on. So this is the stack, right? It's like get all this crap done in 20 minutes every morning. So then I pipe in. I have there's like a tube that comes in. It's a mask. It literally goes over my face. Yeah. Goes over my face. I'm like covering the microphone. Yeah. And so basically hypoxico simulates high altitude. So like Olympic athletes train at high altitude so that when they go down to normal altitude, they have an over oxygenation from all the extra red blood cells in their body and they can perform better. So there's people that just like suck oxygen in the morning, which probably feels really good. Yeah. But it doesn't actually stimulate any of your body's response to do that. Like it doesn't continue on after you suck down a bunch of oxygen in the morning because there's machines that do that. So with this one, it actually restricts oxygen. I turn it so it's like I'm at 22,000 feet. It's like I'm being Everest. It's like the base of Everest or something. I'm probably butchering that, but it's 22,000 feet. And then so it restricts it, and that creates an increase in my red blood cell production. Right. It
has to now produce more red blood cells.
So when I'm done with it, I have this excess engine going. And so I put that on, do my stretching, have the light going, all of that. I do 10 minutes and then I take off the mask and then I turn on the halotherapy, which is like salt. So medical grade sodium chloride, like in the air, and salt kills bacteria, viruses.
Basically grinds it and sends it into the air inside the booth.
So if you ever heard like salt caves, like there's all these studies on people in salt caves that are healthier and don't get disease at the same rate.
And they don't know why.
They don't know why, but it's the salt. right? Like that's the only variable.
So when our kids get sick, they have salt booth time. We don't turn the lights on in there because you can just turn the salt on.
Yeah.
We put them in there with like pillows and blankies and their iPads, and we literally crank up the salt and turn it on, and it's like, either sickness goes away or they're not as sick as long. So
it's crazy. Like you'll literally feel it on like your eyes can like feel it. Like it doesn't hurt.
It's like being in a salt pool and opening your eyes underwater, like way less than that. Like I don't want them to feel like it feels like a salt burn in your eyes.
So that all happens in 20 minutes and like it's done. And like that's the whole thing. And then I work out, right? And then I do the sauna in the evening. And so the whole idea, and I got this from Huberman and all of his peer-reviewed studies, right? Because I'm like, I just follow smart people that spend all the time to read stuff and then just like
research it for years.
And then do the thing. I just like, okay. So it's like 186 to 212 degrees, 60 minutes a week. That's where you get all the benefits of sauna. Yeah. So you have to have a dry, it's called electric sauna, but an infrared sauna will not get that hot.
No, it only goes
you
to
have
like
to have a electric sauna. So my sauna is like, gets to 200, 210. And like sitting there for 20 minutes is not easy. It's intense, but like it feels freaking amazing. And so if you get sick, like my protocol that my coach gave me is you sit in there 3 times. So when I get sick, I do it 3 times a day and like I get better so fast and you immediately feel better after you get out of it. Right.
Just burns it straight out.
Yeah. And then of course you got to do the hot tub, you know, relax your muscles. It helps you go to bed. Anything warm before you go to sleep is going to help you go to bed. Yeah. Anything cold, like cold plunge, you do in the morning, but you're not supposed to do cold plunge after exercise because of the, like, you don't want to, like cold plunge pulls all of the blood from your extremities into your organs. And that's where you get all the benefits. But it also, like, if you're pulling all that blood out after you train, then you're losing that blood benefit in your muscles afterwards. So basically,
cold plunge before you work.
Do cold plunge before you weight train.
But only if your HRV is high.
But only, See, there's all these rules. But like, it's so dialed now. I'm like, I know exactly what to do.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good time to say this right now. And is that it's not about doing everything all at once. Like, you know, it's not about like, I need to change everything in my life right now. In my years and years and years and years and years of being in health and coaching in health is like, pick one thing. Pick one thing and do it for 30 days. Maybe that's you, like what you'd be most excited about is just walking, like walking around the block, walking around your neighborhood. Do that for 30 days. If it's, I want to have my meals, my lunch meals prepped for me, right? And have that instead of going out to eat, instead of doing a fast food for lunch and having Chipotle, I'm going to get my lunch meals prepped by a local company and have a healthy meal for lunch. Do that for 30 days. And then just start at a place where it's like whatever's most exciting to you or whatever you feel like you can do right now, do that. And do it for 30 days. Don't try to implement all of this all at the same time. Don't try to change your meals. Don't try to work out every day. Don't try to walk every day. Don't try to red light every day. Don't try to sauna or hot tub every day. Like pick the one thing that you're going to do for 30 days and start there. And then once that has been built as a foundation, having your lunch meals prepped for you and having a healthy lunch, and you do that consistently for 30 days where you felt like you have a hang on it, then introduce the new thing. There's so many people right now that like are chasing after these, do this for 75 days and change everything. And then guess what happens after that 75 days? It's like now you honestly feel like you've been in a prison for 75 days. So then you bust out and like you lose the habit of all of it because you cannot maintain it for every day of your life. So start with one thing that you feel like if I did this for 30 days, it would make a difference in my health, right? Or my mental health. Okay. Then just do it for 30 days. Then build on the next thing for the next 30 days. Until you feel like you have a hang on it, don't introduce the new thing. Because where people fail in their health is becoming overwhelmed with everything that they're changing all at once. And it's like, you can do it for 30 days. Anybody can change everything out and do it for 3 months, but can you do it consistently for the rest of your life? No, you can't. Because there's a freedom in saying like, I'm choosing to do this because the way it's making me feel and making me feel better, instead of feeling like I'm being restricted and I'm being cut off of everything. And then when that time ends, when that 90 days ends, when that 30 days ends, when that 60 days ends of trying to do everything all at once that you've changed so fast, then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, oh, I think I'm going to reintroduce this because I miss it, right? I'm missing it. And so I would just say, be weary of trying to cut everything out, of trying to change everything all at once. If you want to build up to living a lifestyle of health, it's one thing at a time, slow and patient. And that's how you'll end up with health benefits and results over a long time. And you can do this for 10, 20, 30, 40 years is because it wasn't like a panicked and frantic, like 70 days that you're changing everything. It's been built over time.
Yeah, it's so good. For me, I'm like, I can change things more rapidly and stack them. So I'm glad you said that because I'm kind of a psychopath in that way. Like the protocol was, custom supplements.
But you were at an end. Like
I
you were
was
at
like
an end
at
of your
the
health.
end. Yeah.
Right. And that's what changed it for you. So
Yeah.
if you're in a place like that, yes, like it can be done. But
But
you've
it's still
also
possible.
been doing this for so long that for me, if all of a sudden I said, I'm going to do this for forevermore, like I could absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Because I've been trained up in that. But if it's someone new in their health and you're saying like, I've never really been into health, I don't really know, I don't really have a baseline for my health and I don't really eat healthy. Like we were already extreme in our health in other people's eyes of everything that we were doing.
True.
So for us, adding the supplementation and like the red light and the cold plunge stuff, like that's not a big jump for us because we already had the baseline of doing everything else.
Yeah. But like full circle, just to like recap, right? It's like find the exercise that you will do consistently. Right now, I got a freaking tonal in my house. Yeah. And it's sick. Like you bought it, you wanted it for you, and now I freaking use it every day.
Well, the real way to say that is I wanted to buy it and you were like, I'm never going to use that. And now you're obsessed with it.
I don't know if it was
you
like
were
that
against
bad.
it.
I was like checking it out, and then you said you wanted it, and I went and bought it for you and installed it for you.
Yeah, because I told you if you didn't go buy it from me on Facebook Marketplace that I was just going to go buy it with no negotiation.
Yeah, that's
and
how
then
she
you were
gets
like,
me.
shoot.
She gets me. She
also told
strong
you-
arms me. I'm glad the truth is out. I get strong armed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, if you don't go buy this thing and negotiate, then I'm going to go buy it and waste money.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so good.
And then
So
we
healthy.
came home and I was like, I want to install it today. I want to work out on today. You're like, no, we need to wait for the handyman to come to put it up. And I'm like, well, if you don't help me install it, I'm just going to install it by myself. And then we installed it that day.
I think you might have been bluffing on that one.
No,
I think you might have.
I would have
think
done
you
it
were.
just for the point because I said that I was going to.
I'm going to call your bluff one of these days on one of those.
Go ahead.
One of those
Because as
strong
soon
arms.
as that drill goes off, you wouldn't be able to handle it. As soon as you heard the drill going, you'd be coming around the
I
corner.
could always pay a guy to fix it, right? So do the exercise. The summary listicle was getting interrupted by the heckle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Do the exercise, right? Find the thing that you're going to do consistently.
It could be pickleball.
Yeah.
It could be I'm going to play
who
pickleball.
cares what it is?
It could be I'm going to ride a bike. It could be I'm going to walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah. Stop
Like-
trying to find the newest, greatest thing and
Yeah.
blaming the thing and just go do it. Just go do something. Go walk. Just like right now, leave and go walk. Listen to this while you walk every week. That'll like help you, right? The food is like, you got to do some epigenetic testing to see, right? Like that's really my recommendation
So
on
the
that.
things that we said that we're doing like might not fit you.
Right.
And that's the whole point we're trying to make is like you need to go find out what yours are because the difference that it made for us and for me, like your things will show up different. They will be different. It'll be different supplements you need to take. You might not have MTHFR. Like, so go find out what your things are because I know the difference that it made for me. And so the moral of the story here is like, go get your epigenetic testing done. Go get all of your testing done.
So let me give them the resource. So 10X Health, 10X Health does a test for some like 4 or 5 gene mutations, and then Own It Health. Our friend Justin, who is my coach in that business, Own It, OWN. They're the ones that do like all the different testing and give you much like more clarity and information. So that's the and then the Wake Up and Read the Labels is the company that has like all the swaps
Product
and the
reviews
product
swaps.
reviews for all the specific products. And then we find most of our snacks, right? Like stuff that's not just like prepped meals, right? We buy that from Thrive Market.
Or protein.
I changed my toothpaste. I changed my deodorant. I changed my shampoo.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's metals
Dude,
and all this
best
stuff.
gluten-free pretzels ever. They got a chili lime one that I'm like addicted to right now. Like, or the honey mustard pretzels, and it's like no seed oils, no gluten. Like, it's like the best thing I've ever
Like
found.
I'm trying to equip people right now, right?
Yeah.
And so that's that. And then as far as like the red light stuff, Mito Red is the brand of the product that we use that was highly recommended. I'm trying to think of what else.
Cold plunge is just the plunge.
Yeah,
right?
like cold plunge. Yeah, great product. It's called Cold Plunge. It's like a big white, nice looking tub. They're definitely not cheap, but worth it, right? And then any electric sauna, like a rock electric sauna that has rocks on it is going to get, if it's got the right heater, it'll get to 200 degrees.
Yeah.
So
if
that
you need
can
the
do
right
that.
heater, ours is a Hume, Hume.
Yeah, and then Whoop Band.
Yeah, Whoop. Oh, yeah.
Whoop Band, WHOOP. That's the band that gives you all the data and then like teaches you about all the metrics on there. And guys, like it's such a mountain. Like I was like, oh, we're going to talk about health. And then I was like, yeah, this is
for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I was like, this is a mountain of to tackle, but I hope you guys, like, we've given some really practical. And then, so we've talked about philosophy. We talked about the tools that we use, told you guys some stories. And so like everyone's on their own health journey and is going about a different way. But when you're getting sick all the time, like you can't be productive in your
brain
business.
fog all the time, or you're fatigued all the time, or you just don't have energy, or you're moody all the time.
Yeah, like health is wealth in that regard. And one last thing I want to mention about food, just last thing before we're going to wrap this up. So for lunch, breakfast is like real simple. I do eggs.
Shake.
I do a vegan protein shake. I'm not a vegan, but I do a vegan protein shake because I'm staying away from
because there's no folic acid.
Dairy and dairy and whey. I'm not doing dairy whey anymore. And so I do that. Eggs, like I could eat the same thing every morning. Like that's easy for me. Eggs are amazing. Getting fat in the morning for your brain is amazing. And then that's a concept that Dave Asprey and that whole movement has really propagated, which I believe in. Makes sense. And then for lunch, this is the best hack for entrepreneurs. Okay.
Yeah.
Get prepped meals. But here's the thing. Do not buy frozen prepped meals. Like when someone freezes food and ships it to you, it's not going to taste as good.
Which we did for years.
Even refrigerated shipped prepped meals aren't as good. What is always the best, because we've tried literally a dozen
and
companies.
Usually cheaper.
And cheaper. It's crazy because it's not like a bigger enterprise. It's a small company. Find the like small startup shop local to you that's doing fresh meal prep, and then have them deliver it to your house.
Yeah. So
it's
every Sunday
always
night,
the best
ours gets
food.
dropped off for the week.
It's cheaper than ordering it online.
And it's still hot when it rolls up to my house.
It's so good. And like the best food. We've done this both places that we've lived in the last 8 years. And so that's like the lunch hack, right? Like it's all ready to go. And then the dinner, like we got tired of the whole DoorDash every night thing. Yep. Like if you can afford to do that, go for it. But like I don't like warm food.
But you can't control the food and the ingredients in the food.
Yeah, you can't do that. And it's warm food. It's like it's never hot, you know? Yeah. So luckily I've got this incredible wife here that's been heckling me this whole episode, that cooks every night for us. So we do a HelloFresh vegan meal. Okay. So they send all the ingredients and then you make the food
and it's
yourself.
All like, it's only what we need for a family of 4. And so when I say family of 4, I actually give Brandon 2 servings. I get a serving and then our 2 kids share a serving. And that's perfect for us.
Yeah.
And everything is like already portioned.
Pre-portioned, no grocery shopping, ships to your house.
No waste.
And then we buy a quarter or a half cow from a ranch, Parker Pastures. They're out of Colorado. They're a client of ours, amazing.
Like, never even had pesticides on the land, never been sprayed with anything.
Chloe's amazing. You got to look them up. Like the most incredible beef I've ever had. And so we'll freeze that, right? That beef, and then we'll just let it thaw and then cook it with the vegan meal. It's actually less per meal than getting a meat meal from them. And then you cook that at home. So if you don't have a Kaelin, I'm sorry, I can't help you there to cook your food.
It's pretty easy. HelloFresh can make everyone look like a G.
Is it pretty easy?
Yeah.
I think you taught me how to chop like vegetables, like
and then I was like, you just got to get out of my way. I was like, we should cook dinner together, and then he's like asking me like, well, how do I cut this onion? I'm like, you know what, just go take the kids. Yeah. Let me cook it.
I'm good. That's my kid time. I love that.
I'm like, I'm too hungry to teach right now.
Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us today. This has been incredible. I hope you guys take just something away. Like we just
one thing
downloaded the whole routine. Like we've got a decade of this, but I really feel like practical, applicable. Like, this is what we do.
The one thing should be getting the epigenetic test done first, because you shouldn't go buy anything else. You shouldn't change anything else without knowing what your specific things are to you.
Yeah.
So if you take anything away, like, go get that test done. There's
Yep.
a million places that you can get it. You don't even have to use the 2 that we said. Just go get that done, because any decision that you make for your health should be based off of that testing.
Yep.
And not just doing it because Kaelin and Brandon said it works for us.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what your biggest takeaway was. What was the nugget that you got that you can go and implement? Or just give us some feedback on an episode that you want us to create in the future. Or just hit the 5-star thing because you don't want to type it. We're good with that too. So, and as always, you can check us out at theenterpriseceo.com. We work with 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs to help them scale their companies. And health is a big deal. Can't scale a company if you don't have health.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's a big deal. So thanks for joining us today, guys.
All right. See you next time.
See you
Bye.
next time.